Early this week, MPs on the Education Committee asked government to develop a proper strategy to regulate high school fees structures. Legislators were scrutinizing a petition by Kole North Country MP Samuel Opio on the school fees hike in schools across Uganda. He presented it to the committee on Wednesday, 31st August 2022.
The Ministry of Education expedites the enactment of statutory regulations to regulate fees payable by the various schools, preferably before the beginning of the next schooling year in 2023.
In the same vein, educationists have come out to voice a strong concern, calling on government to expedite the enactment of statutory regulations to regulate fees payable by various schools and institutions of learning.
Is the basic institution that has to regulate education in whatever form and in whatever substance it is supposed to do this. In the first instance, there are various categories of schools which must be regulated, and these have different backgrounds and their interests are different.
Dr. Tom Baloja, a lecturer at College of Education, Makerere University, says government has deliberately neglected its responsibility, which the schools have taken advantage to increase school fees whenever they wish.
Regulating fees is a responsibility of the ministry, but I see a ministry which has abdicated this role, and up to now, ever since the 2008 Act of Education was passed, this thing has not been regulated.
Baloja says if the culture is not tamed, parents will have to choose schools where they can take their children basing on fee structure.
It has now become a fashion that quality of education is associated with the cost put in. When there is a school which is charging highly, they think that is where quality is, and they will run there. Then those who feel like it is a fashion, they will also go in for some schools which are trendy and they are giving their children what they want. Then we have parents who are struggling, and for them, they are inferior. They can't even challenge the fees that have been demanded. So what does this all mean? It goes back to government to look at these dimensions and come up with a policy that will be regulating fees.
Baloja says liberalization is responsible for the situation because most schools operate to maximize profits, not to provide a social service. He says it's possible to standardize fee structure with additional categories but approved by the Ministry of Education and Sports.
Those who want to see their children enjoying luxuries and pleasantries, then these ones can agree with the school to have them increase their funding, but not necessarily to leave everything open because we are in a liberal market where yet we know that we want education is a public service, it's a public good, and it is the one which defines what the country should be in regard to human resource development.
For decades, there have been calls to schools to revisit and amend the way boards of governors in schools are appointed and managed to be in position to respond and handle any arising issues relating to school fees increments and structure alignment.